Hello everyone, myself Bijal Joshi. Today we are going to discuss the model answer paper of History Civics for Cyclic Test 3 of Standard 9. The paper is of 50 marks, divided into short answers of 1 mark and 2 marks each, and structured answers for 3 and 4 marks. So let's begin with the first question based on civics section for 1 mark each. So the first answer is, a welfare state is a state which seeks to ensure the maximum happiness of maximum number implementation and utility value. If you have written correct, give yourself 1 mark. Answer 2. Quo warranto, certiorari, prohibition, mandamus and habeas corpus are the writs given by constitutional remedies. Answer 3. Article 17 in the Indian Constitution abolishes untouchability. Answer 4. Part 4 of the Indian Constitution contains directive principles. Answer 5. There are 543 Lok Sabha constituencies in India. If your 5 answers are correct, give yourself 5 on 5. Going to the 6th answer, the President of India is elected indirectly. Answer 7. In a large country where illiteracy and poverty is rampant, too much power placed in the hands of a few people can be too risky. This is the disadvantage of direct election. Answer 8. There is a prohibition of employment of children in hazardous occupations. This right is termed as right against exploitation. Answer 9. The maximum tenure of an election commissioner is of 6 years or till he attains the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. And answer 10th. By election in an election which is held to fill a vacancy for the remaining period of an elected body. This vacancy could have occurred due to death or resignation of a member before the completion of his term. If your rest 5 answers are also correct, give yourself 5 on 5. So students who have scored 10 on 10, very good. Now going to the next question, which is based on history section for 2 marks each. So the first answer is, Bali and Bhaga were the taxes collected by the Mauryan administration. 2 marks for the 2 points. Number 2, that is answer 2. Tolkappiyam, a work on phonetics and Tamil grammar by Tolkappiyar. Tirukural, a work on philosophy written by Tiruvalluvar. Give yourself 2 marks for specifying the 2 books. Answer 3. Allahabad inscription is also known as Prayaga Prashasti. King Samudragupta has been praised in this inscription. Again 2 points, so 2 marks to yourself. Answer 4. Huang Sang, a Chinese Buddhist scholar, visited Nalanda University. The subjects taught in this university were Vedas, logic, grammar, medicine, Sankhya, yoga, and Nyaya. You have to mention any 2 subjects, and if you have, then give yourself 2 on 2. So well done to all the students who scored 10 on 10 for all the 5 correct answers. Now going to the part 2, that is the second section, which is of structured answers for 3 marks and 4 marks. So starting with the first one of question 3, which is difference between directive principles and fundamental rights. So the 3 points, number 1, directive principles are provided in part 4 of the Constitution, whereas fundamental rights are provided in part 3 of the Constitution. Point number 2, directive principles not justiciable or enforceable by any court of law, whereas fundamental rights are justiciable. The citizens can seek protection from a high court or Supreme Court. And the last point, directive principles are meant for the government to create certain privileges for the citizens, whereas fundamental rights are privileges in existence for the citizens to enjoy. Give yourself 3 marks if all the 3 points are written correctly for directive principles and fundamental rights. Answer 2. The three fundamental duties we have to mention, which are enshrined in the Constitution, as follows. Point 1. To abide by the Constitution and respect its ideals and institutions, the national flag and the national anthem. Point 1 done. Next point. To cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. And the last point. To uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India. So these are the three fundamental duties. Give yourself 3 marks for mentioning the 3 duties. The next answer. Under Article 19, the Constitution guarantees 6 basic freedoms to its citizens. So here we are going to mention the 6 basic freedoms. The first one, freedom of speech and expression. Second, freedom to assemble peacefully without arms. Third, freedom to form associations and unions. Fourth, freedom to move freely throughout India. Fifth, freedom to reside and settle in any part of India. Sixth, freedom to practice any profession, trade, or business. So this answer was for 4 marks. You have to mention any 4 freedoms as expected in this answer. If the 4 points or the 4 freedoms are correct, give yourself 4 on 4. Going to question number 4. Again, the structured answers based on history. So the first one is basic principles of Ashok's Dharma. We have to mention any 3 points. So let's start with it. The first point, respect for elders and love for children. Number 2, ahimsa or non-violence towards both human beings as well as animals. Point 3, Ashoka said that good deeds would give happiness to man in the next birth. Point 4, he taught people to respect all religions. And point 5, no belief in rituals and ceremonies. So these are the 5 basic principles of Ashok Dharmas. If you have written any 3 correct, give yourself 3 on 3. Now the next question is based on Artha Shastra. So we have to give the detailed answer for Artha Shastra. Let's start with it. Kautilya, also known as Chanakya, and Vishnugupta wrote Artha Shastra. Point 2. He was the advisor and prime minister of Chandragupta. Artha Shastra contains 6,000 slokas and is divided into 15 sections and 180 subjects. Next point. It is written in Sanskrit. These subjects deal with politics, rules of diplomacy, principles of administration, and other such political topics. The last point, this book was discovered in 1909 and its English translation is now available. So if you have mentioned any 3 points about Artha Shastra, give yourself 3 on 3. The last answer, that is the third answer of question number 4, is about Mauryan military administration. We have to mention any 4 points. So let's start with it. Chandragupta Maurya maintained a huge army consisting of infantry, cavalry, elephants, and chariots. According to the Roman writer Pliny, the Mauryan army consisted of 6 lakh infantry, 30,000 cavalry, and 9,000 war elephants. Next point, according to another source of the Mauryans, maintained 80,000 chariots. Next, the chief weapons used were bows, arrows, shields, swords, etc. The next point, the king was the commander-in-chief of the army. The whole army was under military commission of 30 members. And the last point, the Mauryas also had well-laid recruitment policy. The soldiers were paid salary in cash. The Mauryan king had built forts at strategic places for safety and security of the empire. If you have mentioned the 4 points correctly, give yourself 4 on 4. With this, we complete the question number 4. Now going to question number 5, which is again based on history. So let's start with the first answer, that is Reaction against ritualism. The causes for the rise of Jainism and Buddhism. And that's the first point. Religious ceremonies by then had become very expensive. Beyond the means of common people, some priests hardly realized the sufferings of the common people. This gave rise to faiths that were simple and inexpensive. Next cause, difficult language. Sanskrit was considered a sacred language. The priestly class gave discourses and chanted mantras in this language, which the common people found difficult to understand. So many people began to look for an alternative religion that they could understand better. The third reason, resentment in the Vaishyas. The caste system was very rigid. The Shudras were ill-treated. Social mobility was not allowed. This was deeply resented by the Vaishyas, for while they were important economic class, but politically and socially, they were not accorded any importance. So these are the three reasons or causes for the rise of Jainism and Buddhism. If the three reasons are written correctly, give yourself 3 on 3. Now going to the second answer, where we have to write about the 3 Ratnas of Lord Mahavira. So starting with it, Lord Mahavira preached that the ultimate goal of man is to attain freedom from worldly bonds or to attain moksha. It can be attained by following 3 Ratnas or 3 jewels. First, right faith. Next, right knowledge. And lastly, right conduct. If all the 3 Ratnas are mentioned correctly, it's 3 on 3. Now the last answer of question number 5 is the essence of Buddhism lies in the 4 noble truths. That is, we have to mention about the 4 noble truths of Lord Buddha. So they are, first, the world is full of suffering. Second, the suffering has a cause. Third, desire is the cause of suffering. And fourth, if desire is stopped, suffering can also be stopped. So these are the 4 noble truths. If you have written correct, give yourself 4 on 4. With this, we end the model answer paper of 50 marks for the Cyclic Test 3. Students who score all the answers correct, well done. And those who have not, better luck next time. Goodbye, everyone.